Hello, everybody. It is time for the weekly Wexford question, and today's question has to do with objectification. Now, why does that have to do with objectification? Well, the lectionary passages for this past Sunday were from the Sermon on the Mount, and in the Sermon on the Mount, the passage that we had, Jesus talks about two things specifically. He talks about adultery, and he talks about murder. And basically, the way he does this is he talks about how it has been said the law was, do not murder. We're all pretty good at not murdering people. Generally, you could go through life accidentally not murdering anybody, and that's pretty good. So the bar is pretty low for following that law. But Jesus says, it used to be say don't murder, but I tell you that anyone who has anger in their heart for their brother or sister, that's just as bad as murdering somebody. So the bar goes really low to really high. Then he says, and it has been said, don't commit adultery. We all kind of know that what adultery is. We know that it's bad. We're better at not murdering people than not committing adultery, but generally we're still pretty good at not committing adultery. We know that it's wrong at the very least. And Jesus says, anyone who lusts after someone else in their heart, just as bad as adultery. So again, bar pretty low. Now bar is really high. It's really hard to do that. And so what is Jesus talking about? What's the connection between these two? Is Jesus just saying that the standard for following him is way harder than we think it is? Yes and no. What he is saying is that you can't do this on your own. You need Jesus' help. But he also is saying between both of those things that both anger and lust objectify people. Now, we're really easy at understanding that lust objectifies people because objectification is very easy to spot. It's probably in the ads on the sides here, or on the sides here, or above me, or something like that. There's probably people being viewed in a way to make you look at what they are and not who they are. But anger does that as well. So lust turns people into a thing that people who can bring us pleasure, people who can just bring us joy and help us out, make our life easier, things like that. Anger turns people into a thing that impedes us, a thing that gets in the way, a thing that is different than us, a thing that we do not like, a thing that maybe even be a threat. The best example of this in our society is sports stars and celebrities. So sports stars, we like it when they do a thing. We like it when they are really good at what they do, whether it's running really fast or throwing a ball, catching a ball, hitting a ball, putting the thing in the thing. When they do that well, we really like it. They win games and win championships. We love it. When they aren't able to do that very well, we kind of get mad at them. What we don't like is when they do something other than that, when they talk about politics or about religion or something unrelated to their sport. Then people get mad and say, shut up and play the game, or sit down. Nobody wants to hear that, because they're stepping outside of the object that we have given them to, the kind of limited parameters. The same thing with celebrities. When celebrities talk about politics or talk about things outside of their movie, there are choruses of people telling them to stop talking and just stick to what they're good at. That's not what we're called to do. That's turning someone into an object. Again, we like our athletes and our celebrities when they do what we want them to do, which is to make us feel good. When they stop doing that, when they start challenging us and start becoming more three-dimensional, when they start becoming people, that's a threat. We don't like that. That's objectifying people. When you're angry at someone, when you lust after someone, they're just a thing that connects to you. They're just a thing that either has caused you problems or could bring you pleasure. And that takes away our ability to see them as an actual person who is entitled to having feelings and thoughts, even if they're different than ours. And so my question for you this week is, how can we not objectify people? What does it look like for us to see people as people and not just a threat or something that can bring us pleasure? How do we do that? It's really hard, especially online. It's way easier to argue with people. It's way easier to just see someone as a single-minded thing or something that only fits into one box. But Jesus is asking us to love people, and to love not just the people that we love, not just our neighbors, but to love our enemies. And in order to do that, first we have to see them as people. How do we do that? How do we stop objectifying people? So let's talk about it. Talk about it below. Talk about it wherever, somewhere around here. And I'd love to hear what you think about that. Thanks.